Hey guys, I just wanted to provide a quick Hunter overview. Hunter has been reworked recently and a lot of his skills have been changed. Hunter is one of the two most popular support classes for Archer, the other one being Appraiser. If you wanted more crit chance and defense down, you go Appraiser. Hunter is a bit more selfish, but really the main selling point of Hunter is that there's a skill for Hunter. This skill called coursing, and when you hit a target with it, it increases the target's damage received by 10%. According to one of my guildmates, apparently that 10% is a super final damage increase. Sometimes it's a little bit better than other normal damage increases because it's added at near the very end of the calculations. So going over the hunter skills, you have comeback, which basically just stops your pet from moving, heals him, and makes it come back towards you. Next skill is the main skill, attack. This one attacks the target and puts the debuff, as you can see here. And the next skill is a little bit confusing. It's called growling. It's a passive skill that your pet does. On normal mobs, it's basically like swashbuckling, where it aggroes up to 10 enemies. On bosses, every 3 seconds, it actually just an automatic DOT. The most confusing part about that is that this growling does not proc unless you use attack. A lot of the hunters are very confused why it's not working, but once you use attack, you can see here it's getting growled right now, and it basically lasts forever. Bolas is just basically a stun. You put it there, it just holds them in place. It's very useful if your mobs are all a little bit buggy and growling's not holding them back. You can put Bolas to just hold them in place while you cast your other spells, like Huron spells. Bleeding Pierce is a very, in my opinion, a very bad skill. It basically just makes it target bleed and makes your pet attack them. It's very weak. It doesn't do that much damage, but it does reposition your pet, which makes it a little bit useful for that. And it looks pretty cool, but I really don't use it. Udang is one of your cool skills. It's basically an AoE attack that summons all the pets from your lounge. I have 2 pets. And it's a 10-hit skill, so it's basically a 10-hit AoE skill. As you can see, my penguin. The more pets you got, the funnier the skill looks. And Howling. Howling is basically a debuff in your enemy that reduces crit rate, accuracy, and evasion for 10 targets. It's not that good because the uptime is very low, and it's even lower on bosses. But that's why I only have 1 point in it. But hunters basically have a lot of skill points left, so you can do what you want with your skill points. And the last one is Praise. Praise basically just improves your damage on your hunter skills for 10 seconds and makes you immune to knockdown and knockback. If you're scared of a boss doing a big knockback move, you can pre-cast Praise. There's a lot of bosses that do basically super knockback, so really you just do that to buff up your hunter damage and growling. For bosses, growling actually procs your divine retribution, which makes it really good. And hunter, the Vivora is basically gives your pet a revive when it dies. For if you're doing normal mobbing, your pet really doesn't die, and if you're doing bosses, that's when your pet really dies. But even when your pet's dead, it still does cast its skills. And a little bit overview for the hunter pet. In my observations, for some reason, all the other pets except the default pet have more buggy AIs. Like the battle bird I tried, and even the red panda I tried. So I'm stuck with a Vanehander. Another pet tip I can give is that if you feed them, it basically puts them back to full HP. This kind of makes the Hunter Vivora useless if you just spam pet food, but one of the reasons I got the Hunter Vivora on is basically just to keep my pet tanky, so when I'm like gathering mobs for my skills, it makes it a little bit tankier. You don't really need a Vivora, but let me just show you how out in my other video on Hwarang, I showed you that I'm basically using it to gather mobs for Hwarang skills, because Hwarang skills are super duper hard to aim. And we go to library again. And one last thing is there's a hunter attribute that makes growling not provoke monsters, but it does double damage on bosses. I usually just turn it on when I'm bossing and off when I'm not. Pretty obvious, but here I'm gonna go proc the attack, just so as you can see all the mobs are being growled now, and I'm free to cast any other skill I want. It's not as good as Spellpasta, but I just really like pet classes, and this is one of the best ways for me to get both Hunter and Falcon the same build.